the Fevers and Mirrors thing, because that fake radio interview, I assumed that was him, but I saw it as him kind of some kind of wink and a nod joking. Then I learned that if you read the Pitchfork review from the moment about that, he interprets it as a completely real thing and the most self-centered, like it's like I don't know how you can possibly read it as that.
I don't either. That's amazing.
It's really, really
it's
wild.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, it's really wild. Unless maybe you want to read it that way.
A lot of things are really unclear for me right now.
That's interesting. Now you mentioned your depression.
No, I didn't.
You're from Nebraska, right?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it just kind of shows, it discredits the listener. If you misjudge what that is so drastically, the reader of the review should say, well, I can only give this critique so much credit.
Yeah.
But, it's hard for me to be so, I'm so close to it. Like, of course, it's not real from my perspective, but I just couldn't imagine somebody thinking that it was real. But it was interesting that somebody did. And so it was kind of funny.
Yeah. Well, so for me, I didn't think
it was an ego trip. Why would who does an ego trip? That's so on the nose. That's so upfront. That's so, like, who interviews themselves on their own record?
It's it's unfathomable. I can't. The best I could think is that they kind of listened once, heard that was even on it, and maybe didn't listen. I don't know. For what it's worth, I try and do I revisit those original reviews at the start of each of these episodes, and so I get to be like critic of their critique to a certain degree. So I did that.
Criticism, so I think it's fair.
Yeah, I did that, and that's fun. But what is true though is that, like, while not thinking it was some real interview, because neither the interviewer or the quote unquote Conor Oberst in the thing, it seems like they're real, I did think that was him. I did think that was him doing that. And I know I'm not alone in that. But it's like, I have to tell you, like, it's basically probably my favorite, or among my favorite kind of sketch type things on any record I've ever heard, because it's like, is that improv? Is that scripted in some way? Is it some combination of both of them? Like, I know you don't give your memory a lot of credit, but like, what is that?
I remember doing that. He gave us a script, and he told me they chose me because I could do aloof. I think, yeah, I do a lot of pausing in my phrasing, and my thoughts are disjointed. That's just how my brain works. And I don't over rehearse things. I think he just thought, well, I don't know who could do me. Todd, you just try it.
I love it.
So I didn't, I looked at the page, I didn't read the whole thing. And then we did it. It's probably one take. I don't know, maybe there were two, but I don't remember doing more than one. And that was that. So he wrote it all down, basically. I don't think it's exactly word for word. I probably, since I wasn't really reading it, I was just kind of seeing what it was like and doing it.
Yeah, it doesn't sound read. And then there's it's a creative piece of writing, but there's certain parts where, like, certain stuff you say seems like it catches the person who would presumably have the other side of the script in their hand off guard, like they laugh at it.
So some of the references, like babies in bathtubs, are not biographical?
Well, I did have a brother who died in a bathtub. Drowned. Actually, I have 5 brothers that died that way. No, I'm serious.
I did think that is a brave move. Like, everybody's trying to be a little brave and a little bit, push themselves when they're making a record. But that one, I was like, wow, okay.
I think it's a brave move because it's like you and how you're perceived as a person. And I wasn't listening to Bright Eyes when Fevers and Mirrors came out, or Where until it got popped off at all of your bands popped off a little more in the years that followed that. But the clearly the perception at that like kind of ascendant moment for Saddle Creek and him and everything was like dark, brooding emo boy, and like all that skit is going to do is like reinforce some version of that. And then if you have
fun of that,
and he's making fun of that, but also kind of like, I say this as a thing that I think is actually fun, but like for a period of for let's say a decade of my life, your voice was Conor Oberst's voice for me.
How long have you worked at this station?
Oh, just a few minutes. Now, you mentioned empathy for others. Would you say that that is what motivates you to make the music that you make?
No, not really. It's more a need for sympathy. I want people to feel sorry for me. I like the feel of the burn of the audience's eyes on me when I'm whispering all my darkest secrets into the microphone.
You know, that you don't come back from the experience of hearing that interview and being like, well, I'm not going out. I'm not the type that's just like on YouTube looking for audio interviews and stuff, which is kind of fucking funny to say as someone recording a podcast, but that was the voice, you know?
That's funny. Yeah, I've been in conversations with people before, and all of a sudden they say, wait a minute, it was you on that, you know, they'll recognize my voice, which is funny, strange.
I think you were well cast in that role because, like, as I talk to you now, like, and I think it's funny for him to come to you and say, like, you're aloof and you have disjointed thoughts and you pause between your sentences. You can be you. How I'll cast you as this, but you're not putting a lot on to play Conor Oberst in that thing, as you say it.
No, he just must have seen. He must have just been like, how Todd is can be me. That's fine.
Yeah. I think if I don't do it on this time, I'm going to